In today's modern world, it's almost impossible to imagine life without highways, cars, buses, or motorcycles. Yet, there are still incredible places on Earth where people survive, thrive, and live peacefully without any roads or vehicles. Welcome to 9 Life, where people live without roads or vehicles, a fascinating journey into some of the most isolated and extraordinary communities on our planet. First, in the floating villages of Lake Titicaca, the indigenous Urosh people build their homes entirely from reeds. There are no streets, no cars, only water pathways where families travel using handmade boats. Their daily life depends on fishing, weaving, and tourism, proving that water transportation can completely replace modern roads. Second, deep in the Amazon rainforest of Brazil, certain tribes live far from cities and highways. These communities rely on rivers for travel and use canoes carved from tree trunks. In this dense jungle environment, nature becomes the highway, and survival skills replace engines and fuel. Third, in the frozen landscapes of Greenland, small Inuit settlements remain disconnected from traditional road systems. During winter, snowmobiles and sled dogs become the only transportation options. There are no interconnected highways between towns. Each settlement stands alone in the vast Arctic silence. Fourth, the remote village of Giethoorn in the Netherlands is famously known as the village with no roads. Instead of cars, residents use boats to move through peaceful canals. Wooden bridges connect homes, creating a fairy tale environment where canals replace streets entirely. Fifth, high in the mountains of Papua New Guinea, many tribal communities live without paved roads. Steep terrain makes vehicle construction nearly impossible, so villagers walk narrow footpaths for hours or even days to reach neighboring settlements. Here, walking is the primary transportation, and strength and endurance are essential for daily life. Sixth, in parts of Alaska, especially remote island communities, there are no road connections to other towns. Residents depend on small planes or boats for supplies, but inside the villages themselves, daily movement happens mostly on foot. The harsh environment makes large-scale road building extremely expensive and difficult. Seventh, in the wetlands of Bangladesh, especially in floating villages during monsoon seasons, people adapt by using boats as their main transport. Schools, markets, and even clinics operate on water. When floods arrive, roads disappear, but life continues through creative adaptation. Eighth, in the desert regions of Mauritania, nomadic tribes move across vast sandy landscapes without structured roads. Camels are their traditional vehicles, and the desert itself is an open map guided by memory and stars. Here, ancient navigation skills are more valuable than GPS systems. Ninth, on the island of Tristan da Cunha, one of the most remote inhabited islands in the world, there is no airport and limited road infrastructure. The community relies on fishing and occasional ships for supplies. Isolation has shaped a self-sufficient lifestyle where neighbors depend deeply on one another. Across all these places, one powerful truth stands out: modern roads and vehicles are not essential for human survival. In fact, these communities often enjoy cleaner air, stronger social bonds, and a slower pace of life. Without traffic noise or urban congestion, people experience a different kind of wealth, one based on community connection, environmental harmony, and traditional knowledge. However, living without roads also presents serious challenges. Access to healthcare, education, and emergency services can be limited. Transporting goods takes longer and requires more physical effort. Yet, resilience defines these populations. They adapt creatively to their environments, turning rivers into highways, deserts into pathways, and mountains into stepping stones. Their lifestyles remind us that infrastructure is a modern convenience, not a universal necessity. As cities grow louder and highways become more crowded, these roadless communities teach an important lesson about sustainability and simplicity. They prove that life without cars does not mean life without progress. Instead, it can mean a deeper connection to nature and stronger human relationships. So next time you step into your car or drive down a busy street, remember that somewhere in the world, people are walking through forests, paddling across lakes, or riding camels across deserts, living fully, peacefully, and successfully without roads or vehicles. This is not just survival, it is a different definition of civilization itself.